In this quick video, I'm going to go over some of the ins and outs of the cout object. Now, I'm not going to repeat anything that the book has already taught you about it, but I do want to go over some common mistakes that come up with using it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the use of IOStream. In your chapter, it taught you, when we discussed this cout object, that you need to make sure to include IOStream at the top. Now, unfortunately, that's something that you and many other programmers will forget from time to time. It just happens. But I want you to see what happens when we do forget, so that when you do see the error, it should trigger your memory, oh, I forgot to include IOStream. The problem we have is that cout was not declared in this scope. It's not declared, it has no idea what it is. The issue here is that there is another library, and by library, I mean a collection of files wherein cout is declared. In order to include other libraries in C++, we need to use the include statement. And the syntax for that is pound include, and then in this case, IOStream. IOStream is the library that cout is included in. Now, if we just have this, and we run it, we'll get the same error. It still does not know what cout is. The problem here is that inside of libraries, we have what are called namespaces. Namespaces are just collections of classes. Now, if you're not too familiar with that right now, don't worry. Namespacing is a concept that we learn later. But I just wanted to briefly touch on it so that the concept of using namespace STD stands for standard, what it's for. So what we're saying is, inside IOStream, I want you to automatically bring in everything that's in the namespace of standard, STD. cout lives in that namespace. So when we have that, both these two things, which are required for cout to work, and we hit run, you can see our program compiles. The next thing I want you to notice is case sensitivity. This happens quite a bit. C++ is not case sensitive, as you hopefully learned from the chapter. And if you didn't get it from the chapter, you will learn the hard way as we program more and more examples. Because if you change the casing on a variable name, you will quickly run into issues. If we have a capital C here, and we hit run, we're going to get an error. Cout was not declared in this scope. Same error we had before, because it's saying, I don't know what this cout thing that you're referencing is. I've included IOStream, I've looked in the namespace std, and I just cannot find where cout is. The problem here is that it's case sensitive and needs to be lowercase. Okay. The next common issue that you come across is the direction of these symbols here. Okay. Later on, we'll learn about another object called cin, where the symbols go the opposite direction. Okay. There are several different ways that you remember, but cout, you're always using the less than symbol. It's always opening up towards the content that you want to spit out to the console. Think of cout as console out. Now, if we reverse these, which will tend to happen, you'll forget, or you'll be helping someone else and they'll have forgotten, and the issue here is it's having a very difficult time figuring out what these symbols are for. And in this case, in solo learn, we're just going to get a compilation error. So in this case, we just had them backwards. The next thing is end line characters. The book shows you two different ways to do end lines. End L semicolon is a great way to remember to end each of your lines. And that happens to be more readable than doing \n. Combining multiple outputs. Now let's say we wanted to split these up. Let's say we want to put hello on one line and world on the other line. You might think, okay, cout hello end line, and then cout world end line. Sure enough, what that'll do is put one on each line. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with this, but you don't have to do it like that. Cout is what's called a stream, meaning you can keep sending it as many things as you'd like, as long as they're separated by this double less than symbol. So we'd like to send the string hello, and then the constant end L for a new line, and then the string world. What we can do is after end line, we can just use the less than symbol again and put world and end there. And now you see if we run, we should get the same output. First it sends the string hello to the cout stream, then it sends the new line constant to the cout stream, and then it sends the string world to the cout stream. Now don't be too confused right now by my use of the term stream. Streams are something that you will learn either at the very end of this course or at the beginning of the next course. What I would like you to take away from this is that you can send multiple things to the output or to the output console just by separating them by these symbols. Okay. Now, this one is a bit pedantic, but every time you're at the end of a cout statement or at the end of a line, you don't have to put a semicolon. If you wanted to separate this onto multiple lines, you could simply do this even. And it'll keep sending things. It'll ignore all this white space until it gets to the next thing that it knows about. Remember, the compiler always ignores white space. And we could even do this if we'd like. And this will output the same exact thing. The semicolon goes where you want to stop sending things to the console out.